Okay, I'm going to update the last code, or maybe I'm going to add one more feature, uh, ability to communicate the web service. What password I gave. Okay, so we may add another button. Uh, where am I? So where I'm currently located, some sort of link we can add. So clicking that will tell the user's location, stating that you are right now in this location. Probably we can add the map also, but at present our focus is to learn how Ajax and the web service part works. Provided we'll have that accomplished later, we'll try to see if we could put a map in this application. So Google Map and APIs are available for public usage. But even though our content doesn't make a requirement on Google Map, and also the Google Map and other stuff is going to be covered widely in Android also, we may have that particular part waiting. But before that, we have to realize how asynchronous web communication could be made with a technique called Ajax. To make that happen, I need to do a couple of other workarounds, or maybe some sort of little clarification on that. One being the destination where the web service I'm going to consume. So Google web service, I really don't know that exact address. So if you see a link, developersgoogle.com/maps/documentation web service, something is there, make sure it is accessible in your computer. I hope anything having a google.com domain, it is accepted in your computer, but before that please check whether this particular URL is accessible. If not, uh, uh, you cannot see this particular example. I mean, you cannot even test it across. So can somebody test this developers.google.com/maps, or maybe the same URL, whether it is accessible? Probably I'll give even a fine-tuned URL. I'm going to go to the API section called geocoding and block the what. Okay. I'm particularly interested on one part called reverse geocoding, because anyway we are going to get the latitude and longitude, which is a geocoded value. I'm going to convert it into a readable address. So this is the exact link I'm trying to get. Maybe I can write it clearly. Please check if you could access this URL in your computer. If this particular URL is accessible in your Chrome browser or somewhere, you can run it and see whether it is working. You should get a JSON response. The last two part is the latitude comma longitude, which we are going to make it dynamic. We are going to replace it with our current location one, but this is a testing one, so please use the same detail as specified here. See if this URL is not blocked. So if we use this URL, you will end up seeing, but first you type test. Does it work? Blocked? Okay, you will get a JSON response. I'll show you. So you are you getting this? Okay, that's cool. So it's mean there is no block. At least we have to say thanks for it because the subsequent exercise, I'm going to convert this. Remember, we already know about JSON. We are already using the JSON part. Even in fact, the local storage, we convert a JavaScript array into a JSON and save that into our local storage. If you see your local storage, it will also be into a similar form what you're seeing right now. Anything start with a curly brace tells there is a object resides. An object contain a square box mean the result is of type array. The array contains various elements, one being address components and which in turn contain another array, and it contains a string called formatted address, and it has one object called geometry. Like that, it is a complex JSON. So when I make a communication with the latitude longitude, in this case the latitude longitude of a sample is 40.71 comma minus 73.96, may be denoting a location or 277 Bedford Avenue, Brooklyn, New York. Means a latitude or longitude can be converted into a readable address. So if I give my current latitude longitude where I am standing here, or maybe this particular location, if I can narrow down, I will get exact readable formatted address. Maybe Sirseri zip code or something, some information will land because Google having extensive database across all latitude longitude values. Or in fact, if it is not there, it will trying to give you a relevant information. Not only one address, it is trying to guess a formatted address. Maybe this one. If you see the formatted address repeated, maybe this one, say Grand Street, Bedford Avenue, Brooklyn, or maybe little one and another one, and there are various formatted addresses trying to give us something. If we couldn't find the street name, it will at least give you the city and the state address and the country, and of course, so Google or typically any reverse geocoding providers will try to identify from the database and give you multiple values. It may not get one single value because it is very highly impossible to pinpoint a location, and that too with accurate address, because there are huge number of chances are there. Maybe the latency and accuracy, everything matters. So when you make a communication to a Google server, especially the map server, with the latitude and longitude, Google will try to give you a various suggestions. And it also give one of the particular object called formatted address gives you the readable address. Not only to that, it gives various other components stating that street number, route, neighborhood, and sublocality, administrative area. It gives you various other information as well because Google maintains an extensive database. So it gives you a JSON formatted one. So because JSON, a JavaScript can easily consume and convert as a object or array and have the particular data displayed in your application. So this particular way, I'm going to get my current location and I'm going to replace my current location with this particular two values, and I'm trying to see what values I'm getting. For that, I need to find my current location. So let us start that particular process. Before that, whether the current location part works or not, I need to identify. So this is my previous project. I had a JavaScript called studentsjs.js, which is the full JavaScript file, uh, which is using maintaining the station storage, local storage, and various page transition. So I'm trying to see if where I can find my location. Okay. Location object slightly kind of object. Let me see if the object exists. It is called navigator. So navigator is an object like a session storage or local storage. It's an object, pre-initialized object, which is available for usage in JavaScript. and get current. You won't get much suggestion here. I'm trying to see get current, get location, get. So this is a way to get a position. Once a navigator will take time to get your exact location. Trouble with my charger. You need to write a callback method when the navigator receives the location. Remember, it is a time-taking process. So I'm going to write a callback method. You already know such a terminology. In fact, we are using here also. The callback method is going to come with an object called position. So I'm going to put a console. Position coordinates chords. Would get suggestion. Remember, you should get used to it. Latitude, TUD, latitude. This I'm trying to print it. Longitude. Again. If that works, it should print my particular computer current location in the console log. Let me try. Select elements. Current position is different. Let me refer the navigator object, maybe some sort of location or position. I'm a little confused. So sorry, geolocation, I think. So geolocation. So it's not get location, geolocation. Okay. Print. It doesn't print but doesn't give me an error also. So maybe my object is there but doesn't return a value. I have a small fix to have that because obvious reason is this navigator object will take time to get prepare and identify the location. It may not be recommended to keep that immediately in document ready section. A navigator object could be called as user press the button or click on some link getting the current location or some other option. So it should depend on some other user navigated pattern when after that the navigator can start getting the location. So I'm going to move this block. I'm going to put in somewhere as soon as the user click on the button. So student screen, I'm going to put it here. Let me see, because the student screen when it get displayed, user either will click on a button or something, or maybe where is a button? Login button, something we had, it will be better to check. the check login. So when a user click on login, immediately we verify what is the current location of the user, because the navigator object is a time taking one. So we'll need some sort of action performed. From there only it can find out the location. It may not be ready as soon as your document is ready, because it will immediately start trying to initialize your navigator object, because the document ready section is the first one getting loaded. So I'll modify the code a little bit. Still not. But if you see this particular arrow, it signifies this page contained elements from the following site that are tracking your location. So maybe my tracking is working here, but due to some reason it doesn't print. Let me see if I have some sort of function. Okay, current position. Trying to print the position alone. Let's see at least whether this particular line is getting caught. Get current position. Perfect. Instead of confusing this line, I'll create a new project, whether see if that works, because I'm a little suspicious over here, because this app is straight away project. It should work. I'm going to do a separate project. I'm going to keep a simple button. Make it a script block. So I'm going to call this particular method as soon as user click on the button. Inside I'm going to write the same. Current position with the position coordinate. Let's see if that works at least. This guy doesn't return anything. I'm going to use my cell phone data. Let's see if that gives me. trying to get connected with my cell phone access point. It may have the location coordinates. Before I need to verify whether it is working or not. It's working. Yeah, I'm getting it. So it depends on the target. This cell phone guy has the latitude longitude data tracked and of course trying to give me. Whereas I've been using a USB device to get my internet, which naturally doesn't have a US geolocation chip, so it cannot reverse geocode and trying to find the latitude and longitude. Whereas this is going to work for my cell phone data because cell phone already contain uh, GPS chip which has a location tracking capability. So from there, your application found. So this jQuery app, mobile app, is going to be it's going to run on your cell phone. So naturally, it can get the data, it get the current location of your user. So for this exercise, I'm going to use my cell phone data. This is where you will end up into trouble. You cannot test this application, especially getting the location, but you can test the Ajax part. That is going to work for you. So at least for this part, do you trying to see what is the latitude and longitude of my current location. So this is the latitude and longitude I'm getting here. This is telling my current location. I'm going to do a little trick here. I'm going to change the last two with the current one which I'm getting from my browser console. I'm trying to make a communication to Google. If you see the address VPG Avenue Main Road Gandhinagar Wakim somewhere, so maybe uh, my device prior I started from Thoraipakkam, so maybe that is giving the previous location. But at least it tried to find. That's terrible. Giving the result of this training program, actually, I don't know. Okay, so trying to find out the nearest location, a possible location of my device. Uh, Maybe it is giving a Metukuppam bus stop. That's where I started. Today I got my cab from there. So a couple of suggestions from the current location. So a readable format somehow retrieved passing the current latitude and longitude. So this is what we are going to display in our app. So I want to verify whether the jQuery mobile app also working. So as soon as user logs in, we want to display the current location. That's all we have written. It gives me coordinates, accuracy, see almost 550, sorry, 5 lakhs 20,418 meters. It is not so accurate. It is slightly a larger viewpoint. It is saying within that circle you are there. So that's what it is saying. Actually, maybe latitude or longitude. If I am traveling, I will have a speed and other calculation. Ah, they assumed we are in break or maybe or I don't know. Okay, I think that's the time also. I'll just write one single line, then I'll leave you guys for a break because the one we started for Ajax, if you don't do that, that is going to be a trouble for us. So I'll only copy the jQuery minified file in the previous exercise. So Ajax part alone I will write, the rest of the part we'll see. So this is where I'm getting the current location, latitude and longitude. I'm going to integrate the jQuery. jQuery added. As soon as I get the location, I'm going to make a communication to the server. The jQuery Ajax part is a simple method called $.ajax. It's going to take a object inside as an argument. What the hell they're really testing, I don't know. Oh, let him stop. Okay, I'll run the code, maybe I'll explain it later. I have four arguments: URL, type, data, success. URL takes a string value, type takes a string value, only possibility get or post. Data, if you want to send additional data, if you want to use as a form, a post based methodology, I'll explain what is get and post. If you have additional, you can use it, but if you use only post here, otherwise it won't be honored. So if I'm using post, I can use it. But Google does not have any document stating that you need to use get or post, so I'm just using post. Once the communication is successful, when the data is ready, you will give you a callback function called response. You'll get the response like this. Get location. And I'm also getting additional object that is contain all the information what you had. It gives me a Bangalore now this time, I don't know. So I can get the data. There are various objects. Whatever you read it here, the same object would be there. So now I made a communication to a remote server with the latitude, longitude, what I'm getting from the navigator object. I'm forming the URL, making the communication to this URL. When the URL returns a value or response, I'll get a callback in this function. So the Ajax takes primarily take an object as a parameter. That object contain a key called URL and one value, and type another value, data another value, and one of a key called success takes a callback function, and that callback function gives you the response as soon as the data retrieved from the remote server. So in that case, this remote server data I just need to decode because it is retrieved as a, you notice it is starting with a curly brace. It means it gives me a JavaScript object. So from the JavaScript object I need to, so not the, this is a geoposition one. Let me write one more time. So not this one, sorry. No, here. So I'm getting a JavaScript object. That object contains another object called result that is giving me an array, and another one is called status gives me a string. So this array, if I have to decode, that array contains various inner object, one being formatted address that gives me a readable formatted one. So I need to display that in my application. How I'm going to display, how I'm going to decode, maybe I'll explain after the break. So it's almost 11:25. You can take a break now. So come back after 10 minutes or 15 minutes, then I'll continue.